So we went to Super BitCon. It's a convention held in Oklahoma City. And this was several months ago. And we had a booth there, and one of the vendors there, his name is Billy McDonald. He had a game there that I was eyeballing like the whole weekend. It was called Air-Zonk, and I'm sure some of you are familiar with Air-Zonk, but it's a really sought after, hard to find game on TurboGrafx 16. It's a side-scrolling shooter. And I was eyeballing this thing the whole freaking weekend. He wanted $90 for it, which is actually about the going rate, if not even a better deal than that. But again, you know, us being so cheap and stuff, I'm like the whole freaking time thinking to myself, I want it, but I just can't spend that money. You know, just I have this rule where it's not really a rule because I sometimes break it, but I don't like spending close to $100 for one particular single game. I don't care what it is. I mean, if it was a little Samson that goes for $500, that's a different story. But you know, in this case, I just didn't deem it appropriate for me to spend that money in that particular time, that particular situation. So he knew I really wanted it, and he was basically like, you know, just make me an offer, make me an offer, make me an offer. And I just didn't want to make him an offer because my offer would have been like $30, and you know, I didn't want to. I knew he could get a lot more for it than that, so I was just like, you know, I honestly can't spend more than $30-40 right now. So you just keep it, and you know, get your money for it, and you know, I much appreciated, you know, but I just, you know, it's one of those things. You know, it gets to the end of the day on Sunday. Saturday. It was a 1K convention. It was on Saturday, but it gets to the end of the day. I think I said weekend before too. Most of the conventions we go to are 2 days, which Super BitCon will be 2 days next year. But this particular, you know, it being the first time, it was only 1 day. But it was end of the day Saturday. Everyone was starting to pack up and leave. And Billy McDonald, he had actually left too. And I go over to our booth and I look down, and it's Air-Zonk, and it's sitting down there in the little box of things that I had gotten for the day. And I'm like, you know, where'd this come from? And Rachel, Jay's girlfriend, was like, oh, somebody came by and said, here, you can have it, and left it. And I was like, what? And Billy had actually, you know, most of his stuff had been cleared off of his desk or table, and he was actually coming back in just to get a couple more things and was going to leave for the day. And I caught up to him and I was like, look, you don't have to give me this freaking game. And it was like I couldn't convince him not to. You know, he was just, you know, I think what it was like he wanted to give it to me more than he wanted the money for it. And so, I mean, at that point, what do? I just thanked him and said, you know, I mean, at that point, it's like when somebody gives you the action figure, it's like, what do you say, right? So I just wanted to say thanks. Billy, if you're watching this, I want to say thanks. Much appreciated. This game is freaking cool. And Billy is like, and he's done this for other people too. It's not just me. I think he's hooked up Retro Liberty, Scott Video Game Sellers. He's just that kind of a guy. He's just giving and generous, and he knows, as a collector, helping other collectors out there. I guess it gives him some joy to do that, to help other collectors. One of the most generous, nicest guys that, you know, in this entire, you know, thing when we've been doing this, getting into the collecting scene and stuff, what I've ever personally met. So I wanted to just say thanks, and I'll put a link to his channel below because he actually has a channel. So that's kind of part of the reason for me doing this video too, was also to say thanks. And I guess part of my way of saying thanks was to, you know, show everybody, hey, yeah, he's got a channel, he's doing his own thing too. Which is not why he gave it to me, because at the time he gave it to me, he didn't even have a channel at all. This is something that he's done in the last couple months. So, Billy, thank you very much. And for those of you who have not played Air-Zonk, it's great. So, it's better than the second one. So, thanks again.